It's been some time since I posted some proper content here, and so I'm sorry for the radio silence. As I mentioned in my recent apologetic 3D Rev song, this is because I'm moving my workshop and studio into a different room. Not just moving things from one place to another, but I've been planning and redesigning some parts of it from the ground up to make it a more functional space for me to use. Now, I don't want to oversell what I've got here. This isn't some warehouse-sized workshop with thousands of printers, industrial installations, and professional-grade lab equipment. And I've seen the pictures. Many of you have more impressive setups than I've got here. But I've done what I can with the resources I have and the space available to me to make a workshop setup that will make it easier for me to make better content for you. That said, I am very aware how lucky I am to have such an amazing setup available to me, and I know that the same can't be said for a lot of people. So my hope is that through my videos and learning about my workshop setup, people will pick up tips and tricks that they can apply to their own setup within their own budget to make their own maker's haven. I've got a lot of plans for improving this in the future, but for now I am very excited to say that it is complete and ready to use. So I thought I would give you a quick look around the new setup today, and then I'll get on to making more videos for you to learn from and enjoy. So let's take a look. One of the first big differences is rather than having them dotted all around the room, I've got a dedicated machine area for my printers to live in. These are my primary machines that I use regularly, but I've got plans for fitting more of my machines, including new ones which I'm expecting imminently, into this area in the future. Above them is a couple of shelves which can be used to store things like the air purifier and drones, but can also be used to hold additional filament rigs like the AMS, which are then connected to the machines sat below them. Opposite the machine wall we have my computer setup, which you'll be seeing occasionally in my software tutorial videos for things like slicers, photogrammetry, generative AI and Home Assistant. And to the left of that we have my workbench backed by my SCADA's tool wall, kitted out for part assembly, soldering and general tinkering. And finally we have my storage area in the corner of the workshop. This used to be a fitted wardrobe, but I removed the doors, tidied up the frame a bit, and painted the interior this matte black, which I absolutely love. I popped some IKEA storage in the bottom here, but the focus of this area is the filament storage. This is 2 shelves, each one comprising of 2 aluminium tubes, mounted to the wall with brackets which I designed and printed. I had fun designing this as I talked to ChatGPT to help determine the ideal bar size to use that would hold the weight of the filament for this shelf plus a bit more without causing excessive flex to the bar. Then I just designed the wall brackets and they're printed in PETG. These are obviously designed for the specific size bar and to support the weight of this length of shelf when fully loaded, but if others would like these files, let me know in the comments and I'll pop them online. Now, whilst I have removed some things from this room, like the doors of this wardrobe, I also got some brand new furniture for this setup. I'd like to say a huge thank you and give a big shout out to Tom at Outside the Box TS on Etsy, who made all of the desks in this setup. Though he has a range of sizes, on request he can make alterations to them. So for example, I had him make the computer desk 15mm thinner than the others. They are also all thick, solid wood desktops, which absorb the vibrations of 3D printers much better than the semi-hollow IKEA worktops I had them on previously. Tom was so excited when he found out what the desks will be used for that he gave me a discount code to give to you. So right now if you use the code 3DREV on his Etsy store Outside the Box TS, which I'll link to in the description, you will get 30% off. Just so you know, that's not an affiliate code and this is not a sponsored segment. I'm just so pleased with the desks that I'm more than happy to pass on this discount to you guys. Like before, all of my printers and machines are powered through smart plugs, meaning I can turn them on or off remotely, allowing me to fire one up and start a print when I'm not here, or run an emergency shutdown. It also means that I can turn any of them on or off using my voice. Hey Google, let's print something. I recently switched from using TP-Link smart plugs to Shelly ones, which integrate really nicely with Home Assistant. These pass on their power monitoring data to Home Assistant, so I can then set up an automation where if I request to turn off a printer, it will check what the current usage is of that plug, and if it thinks that the printer is currently in use, it will double check with me before it powers down. Now, what's more exciting for me when it comes to home automation is for a while I've been wanting to add a presence sensor to my workshop, and this time round I've added the Aqara FP2 Presence sensor. Unlike a motion sensor, which simply detects motion anywhere in its field of view, this can detect multiple people at once and pinpoint their exact position in a room, tracking them as they move or stand still, all without needing a camera. With this fitted, I've added several layers of automation, the first being very basic. When someone walks into the room, the light turns on. When the last person leaves the room, the light turns off. This has been common for a long time in a lot of places. The difference is, this doesn't rely on motion. This detects presence even if you're standing completely still, so you don't need to wave your hands over your head every 5 minutes to stop the light from turning off. Now, the more unique automation here is because I've mapped out the room with this presence sensor, you can have certain things happen depending on where people are. So if I walk up to my filament rack, the lighting will automatically turn on, allowing me to easily find the color filament I want. As I walk away, the lighting will turn off. The same also goes for the SCADA's light behind my workbench. Now, whilst these presence-triggered automatic lights are fantastic when I'm just working in this space, I don't want random lights just turning on and off when I'm filming videos for you. So I set up a Boolean entity helper in Home Assistant called Studio Mode. I then got my Home Assistant button of choice, which is the Aqara wireless mini switch, designed and printed a SCADA's mount for it, and set it so if I press this button,
Studio Mode on,
it turns on Studio Mode. This basically stops all of the light automations from working. If I press it again, it will then turn Studio Mode back off.
Studio Mode off.
With this button, Studio Mode is controlled with a long press, but a short press will just act as a standard light switch, turning on and off the machine desk lighting and the general ceiling light. On this note, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Box on MakerWorld, who designed this fantastic 3D printed lampshade. I'll pop a link to that in the description. So with all of this automation, I don't want to go turning the physical light switch off when I walk out the room, therefore preventing the smart light from turning back on again when I walk back in. So I designed and printed a block that screws over the original light switch and holds another Aqara mini switch. As well as this acting as a physical light switch, this can also activate and deactivate Studio Mode.
Studio Mode on.
With these Aqara buttons, as well as press and long press, you can also assign an additional function to double clicks, but I plan to save that for a future project. Partway through filming this video, so you may not see it in some of these shots, I also set up an old iPad Mini 2 as a dedicated Home Assistant control screen next to my computer, giving me quick controls to power on and off all the lights and machines in the room. So that it always and exclusively shows Home Assistant, I have the iPad set in kiosk mode and have the screen turn off automatically after 15 minutes of no use. But to save me from having to wake up the screen each time I want to use it, I have Home Assistant send a notification to the iPad, which isn't displayed because it's in kiosk mode. This notification then wakes up the screen. I have Home Assistant send a notification to the iPad anytime I walk over to the computer, and then every 14 minutes whilst I'm sat there, meaning unless I actively turn it off, the screen is always on anytime I'm close enough to use it. As well as the link and discount code for these desks, I'll also pop a link to any of the gadgets or 3D prints I've talked about in this video in the description below. Now, the catalyst that really got me to move my workshop from one room to the other was receiving this, the Creality K2 Plus Combo. And you can see it is a unit of a machine. It arrives in a colossal package weighing almost 60 kilograms or 9 stone. And it was only then when I received it and unpackaged it that I realized I had nowhere to put it other than the floor. So now I have the K2 Plus Combo set up and running in a workshop that can accommodate it. I have a video coming very soon. It'll be my next video looking into this absolute hulk of a machine, which I'll also be using to print some of the design modifications that I've made for my room, taking advantage of its rather large size. With the workshop at this stage, I can't wait to get back to publishing regular videos for you, with tutorials, explorations and deep dives into 3D printing and maker tech, as well as some potential and intriguing interviews, so keep an eye out for them. In full disclosure though, since my accident a few years ago, I do have to really pace myself, and sometimes that can lead to slight delays in videos. I've also got a small operation lined up for later this month, but I am trying to get enough filmed before the operation so I can edit that whilst I'm recovering, but we'll see how that goes. Depending on how the operation goes, there's also some potential necessary projects that I'm going to need to do, in which case I will be covering those in the future as well. Let me know in the comments what you think of this setup, if you have any suggestions for slight changes that I could make, or some cool automations that I could add. I can't wait to produce and publish all of the exciting videos I've got planned for you, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss them. For now, as always, thanks very much everyone, and until next time, happy printing. I'd just like to say a huge thank you to my channel members that have stuck with me during this quieter time, and those that have joined me more recently. It really does mean the world to me. If you would like to join them, supporting me and getting yourself bonus goodies, you can hit the join button below any of my videos. For now, why not get stuck into my treasure trove of tutorials and explorations that are already on my channel? Here's a couple to get you started. Thanks very much everyone, and until next time, happy printing.